want to interview for a while, man. I'm glad we get to do it.
Oh, no.
So yeah, man. Appreciate you.
All
All right, you looking big.
right.
I think that might be an intro, guys. This is Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. We're here at Rival Wrestling in New Jersey with one of the greatest British wrestling pro wrestlers ever, Michael OKU. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. That is such high praise. I appreciate that. I'm doing good, though. I'm doing really
But you deserve it because you're a champion in Britain. I mean, the undisputed British champion. I mean, what if you like to hold that championship?
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those titles that has so much prestige around it. Rev Pro having the connection with New Japan and so many other companies, it allows people to hold the title such as Ishii, Suzuki, AJ Styles. I think that was the one. When I won the title, I kept shouting to myself, AJ Styles, just to really just put home how crazy and prestige that championship. So it felt amazing to hold.
Yeah, man. And we're at Rival Wrestling right now. You're in the main event, I believe, against Zachary Wentz. It's going to be a big match. How do you go into that match and actually beat him? Because he's TNA guy, TV guy, but you're a great wrestler as well. How do you go into that match and beat him?
Well, it's research. You know, I'm such a big fan of, it's just me, it's so important to do research. And I say to people, if I'm traveling, the plane, I am downloading as much matches as possible to see what he does. We've wrestled once before. It was a tag team match for Riptide that's 5 years ago. We are two completely different wrestlers now, so you'll be excited to see the two of us, what we've learned in that time, have a hell of a main event.
It's interesting that you're here because, I mean, I remember seeing you on AEW. You had a match against Serpentico. And I was like, oh, that's crazy because like you're here in New Jersey, and tomorrow's a show called Full Gear. Will we see you in the Prudential Center possibly?
So I didn't know that I took this booking. I took this booking for a Rival, excited to be part of it. I had no idea until it was brought to my attention that AEW Full Gear was the next day. So, hey, listen, I hope they have a lovely show the same way a Rival will have a lovely show. And that's the most I'll say.
What was it like being a part of AEW, having that match, and just getting that ovation? Because the pop from the crowd was insane when you came out.
I think that was the coolest part about it. I think moments where you get an opportunity, like you're going to wrestle for All Elite Wrestling, it doesn't mean as much if other people don't care, if the fans don't care. So the fact that the fans cared and gave me such a large and huge reception is what made that moment like an unbelievable experience. It's something that I still think about. I think I put it on my Instagram story today. I just to think about how cool of a moment it was. It was amazing.
How important has Chris Jericho been to your career? Because obviously you guys have a pretty tight connection, like looking at it and whatnot, with your match at PWG and whatnot. What's your relationship like with Chris Jericho?
Well, I am the current Chris Jericho champion. So, I mean, it's weird because you want to talk about my influences. Anyone that knows me, even if they are not wrestling fans, if they know me, it's Chris Jericho and it's The Rock. Those are my two guys that have influenced me to be the pro wrestler that I am today. So for me to develop a relationship with Chris personally and him to be a fan of my stuff, it's really cool, and I can always count on him as someone to just like bounce ideas on or ask for advice from. He's very open like that, so I always really appreciate Chris.
It's amazing. 2 more questions for you. When did you want to become a pro wrestler? Like, what inspired you to actually become a professional wrestler?
I think I was at a point in my life where I said to myself, I've always wanted to be a wrestler, but I just didn't take the plunge in doing it. And in my opinion, I feel like taking the dive to make the decision and try and train was harder than anything I've ever done in my life, even doing matches and big matches. So there was just a point in my life where I was like, you know, if I don't even try to become a wrestler, my life's a failure. So I said to myself, let me give it a shot. Let me give it a go and let's see what happens. And suffice to say,
it's working out. It's working out. Now, a question I like to ask people that come on the show is if they like going to Waffle House and what's their order. Because I know pro wrestlers love Waffle House, right? So, Michael OKU, if you have been to Waffle House, what is your order?
I haven't been to Waffle House.
Okay, so do they have like a really crappy diner in the UK that like is open up 24/7?
The only thing that's 24/7 that wrestlers always go to is McDonald's. We just go to McDonald's. I've been to Denny's though.
Okay.
You want to talk about American experiences? I've been to Denny's.
That's basically Waffle House.
Okay.
So like it's like WWE's Waffle House, and then like Denny's is like AEW. So it's like, what's your Denny's order then?
Okay, the Challenger brand. My Denny's order, I always make sure I get a breakfast, a full breakfast. The hash browns in Denny's are elite, dare I say. You talk about the AEW connection. Those stringy hash browns, you don't get those in UK. So those, anytime I get something to do with those hash browns are great. And then the pancakes with the syrup, that's my order.
Guys, now we know. These are the questions that you need to ask when you do these kind of interviews. Michael, thank you much for your time, man. I greatly appreciate it. Where can they find you on social media if they're not already following you?
Yeah, at the OJMO for all social media platforms. That's the name I started my wrestling career with. It's not changing unless a company says you have to change it. Then I guess I will change it. But then at MichaelOku.com for all my merchandise needs. I'm gonna try and spruce up that site and put like here where you can see me and stuff like that. But all the merchandise, MichaelOku.com.
An elite wrestler, undisputed British champion, Michael Oku. We're at Rival Wrestling. My name's Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. Hey.